Alright everybody, welcome back and we get ourselves the TOP guide for 127. And to start it off, we've got ourselves a previous score from last season, about 1,349 I think. Already forgot about it, I know it's about 1,340 something maybe. But, again, not a bad score, very good score. Got ourselves a 1k, got ourselves top cut, that's all that matters, is mostly the 1k SEC. So yeah, fun times there. So, what we're going to do is 127, and I'll start this off by saying that this is the first season I have been wrong twice. Once almost completely, and the other one not entirely true, but yet not entirely false. But we'll get onto that later. But yeah, we're going to be starting off with the path in, and this is the path we're taking here. As per usual, it's going to be all the hardest fights. Now you could debate, in a sense, the bottom half, for the first few fights, but as said, all the hard fights, all the hyphus fights, that's the one we're going for. The stuff we're going for, the stuff we need to succeed. So yeah, this is the way we're doing this here. Not much needed to say because it's actually somewhat easy this season. Probably because they realised the fucking limited pool of bullshit they gave us, but besides the point. But yeah, speaking of that, pattern, let's have a look at this here. And you know, just because we start ourselves with the first fight. Very simple. Very, very simple. You have a transformation unit, you can honestly get rid of him first if you want to, but he's a hero unit, it's not going to do much, so no really much need to care. But yeah, you mostly just bring in a yellow, you'll be fine enough for this here, as you're tanking and or attacking. Don't put green in your defense, it's never going to happen, because it's purples. But yeah, moving on. Okay, now the first boss fight. I want to point this out because the fact there is a revival unit, so do be wary, because revival units are revival units and they could either take no time or all your time, but it should be easy enough if you know what you're doing, which I have now. But yeah, moving on. Okay, now up to here, I should have said this also, but you can go for either this fight, which is easier than this fight, but I wouldn't be against you going for this fight because you got 3 EXs, but a transformation unit, whereas this here has 2 EXs but no transformation unit. It's the only thing I will say, and the reason why I'm going for this fight over the other one. And obviously it's going to lead you into the this fight regardless, but the final boss fight is where it gets slightly tricky because you could do any of them, but I recommend the far right one because this here has low star ultras and only 1 fusion unit, whereas the other 2 has 3 high star ultras, basically at their base stats. Yes, they are low stats, forgiven, but I'd rather face an ultra with low stars than the base stars, because the lower the stars, the worse the stats, you know, the usual. And over here, yes, I mean, you do have only 3 ultras with 2 of them being lower and 1 nearing it, but you have 2 transformation units. Only reason, and again, we've faced this fight before, it's easy enough if we can get through this here, it'll be fine. But yeah, only reason we're going for that. This here is, you can say it's the least recommended, but also the most recommended because it's an all ultra fight, but it's 3 of them the base stars. I would say this one over the middle fight if you want to go for a second priority, but this one will certainly. But yeah, nothing really much else needed to say because the rest of the fights are actually very easy. So yeah, now what we're going to do is have a look at the recommended allies before we get into the teams. Because this is what I mean, I was half right, yet half wrong, and mostly wrong the first time. Because this here is the boost. Future Trunks and Vegeta Clan. Now, I did say Future and Vegeta Clan, because the fact that Trunks' Z ability buffed Future and Vegeta Clan. Only reason why I went for that, and his thing buffs Future, his Ultra Z ability is Future. But the fact they put a Future Trunks saga for Super did throw me off. Whenever I first saw this, it threw me off. But this is obviously the boost, we're getting 20%, 10%, 5%, so you really want to primarily get Future Trunks and Vegeta Clan, which not exactly the greatest. Here, I'll show you in a minute here, but if you really are struggling, I do have an 80% team, so we can have a look at that. But let's have a look at the units we've got here. This is what we're working with. Fucking nothing, basically. Like again, it's got acquired, so I basically have everyone here. It's not exactly the greatest because you got yourself 5 Zenkais, 1 tag switch, 2 free plays, an EX, and 2 base Sparkins. If you're not counting the Ultra, but yeah, this is why I thought we were actually going to get something decent, because I thought it was just going to be get rid of this here, go to Vegeta Clan, and then to Future. Because at least with this here, we've got 9 Zenkais. So you could, well, 10 Zenkais actually if you include the Future Trunks, transform one down here. Because he's actually pretty decent if you really do think about it, because for one transformation unit, so already stat high enough. So yeah, there is that. But again, I thought it was going to be this here, because at least this would have given us a plethora of units to work with. Not the absolute shit stain that we have for Future Trunks Saga, where we basically only have 12 units to work with. 2 of them are shit, and 1 of them is like barely usable. So yeah, it's going to be fun making these teams, so yeah, let's go. And as per usual, we're going to be starting off with the 100% and 10 team, can't speak, but obviously the team we're going to be using with the Ultra Trunks. But yeah, and as you can see here, mostly Zenkais, the other 2 are just there, only because. Now, the only reason you would probably bring on the tag unit is just to have, because the fact there's too many purples. That will be the only reason I would think so. But not exactly needed, because everyone else here is obviously Zenkai, so they're like the main priority to start friendship ranking up as the main thing. Next up is going to be without Trunks, and as you see there, the tag switch is actually now on the board, only because the fact he actually has the better stats compared to the other 2. Not to say the other 2 are actually bad in stats, but the tag unit has a bit more utility to him, because you can reverse element. That is the only thing I will say, which is very good. But yeah, no, there's not really much I need to say. It's just swapping a character in and out is what it is. And obviously we got ourselves the 80%, obviously. But yeah, this is the team basically if you're really struggling for characters, basically. And as you see here, it's going to be 4 and 4. And the only ones you are going to be needing to swap out is the Zenkai Yellow Black and the Red Zamasu. Only because the fact they're the only 2 characters are equivalent to boost with the free-to-play and the Green Zenkai, because the other you need to get that 80%, so yeah, there's that. And that's it going to be for this video. I mean, slightly more rambly in a sense, because, I mean, the stain for this season, it's not, again, not exactly the greatest. I don't like it. Because the limited pool that we have of characters to actually properly use if you want the best stats. Which is why, for the teams, you would primarily want to try and keep the Zenkais, and why whenever I went for the 80% team, I only include 2 characters from the Future only. Because trying to make a full team of Future is basically impossible. It is more or less impossible, because most you can only get 60%, which I don't think will be enough. Like, 80% is just barely borderline. You can maybe get away with 75%, but 80% is the more safer line. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I shall see you all next one.